What a beautiful deer, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Good morning, guys. Welcome back to Southern Extreme TV. We are on the old John boat, loading up to go do some more hunting. If y'all have been keeping up with the channel, the last deer hunt video, shot a hammer up here on public land, and we're going back in. We got some more tags, and we got some of the crew, some of the other boys back together. So we're gonna load up. We're still waiting on one to show up, and should be a good morning. We've seen an absolute hammer of a deer. We've seen a hammer of a deer on the way here this morning, standing with a doe, just absolutely dazed and mesmerized. And that's what we want. And the good thing is the bulk of the deer that we were seeing were out in fields, so like kind of out in their feeding area and stuff. So where we're gonna go way up on tops of these ridges, kind of what I walked in that last video, give you an idea. And some of the areas that we seen and hunted are the exact areas that we're going to today. And what we're hoping is basically just trying to catch a deer doing exactly what my deer was doing, just kind of cruising, looking for does, or potentially with a doe. And hopefully we just catch them on one of those big highways up there on those ridges, and somebody's gonna get a shot. It's gonna be fun. We got 3 guns ready to rock and roll, so I think we have a very, very legitimate chance at getting something on the ground. So thanks for hanging out with me on this public land adventure. Let's see if we can drop the hammer on some more bucks. Got the boat stashed. See the blood on it from that buck from yesterday. Going up the same ridge that I started at yesterday. Basically, it goes way up onto the saddle system, about 1.5 miles in, and then it loops around over to another ridge and saddle system, which our other buddy, he's overslept. He's going to come in from the back side and hunt that top side, and I'm going to go up and hunt. I found a real nice open patch of hardwoods where I could actually see. And I'm thinking that being able to see right now is going to be the ticket, and getting high, then gaining elevation and visibility is what my end goal achievement needs to be. So we're just going to take our time. We've got probably 35, 40 minutes before legal shooting. That should be plenty enough time to at least get up to the first leg. And then we can just kind of take our time from there. So let's go see if we can make it happen again. I'm in here and set up. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful spot. I seen this spot yesterday when I was scouting before I shot that big deer. Basically, this ridge runs up onto a high knob. And go up onto the high knob and then drop down onto the other ridge that runs back down to the lake. And that's where I shot my deer at. But that deer yesterday was he was just running the tops of these little finger ridges and gullies. So I'm hoping that that's what we're going to find happening today. That wind is rather cold. Put the old boggin on this morning. It's so beautiful up here. But it's work. I've been hiking for about an hour. I literally just now sat down, got all my leaves and stuff scratched away. It's kind of cloudy and overcast this morning, which is absolutely beautiful. Mark actually just texted and said that he had to sit down. He was on the edge of a bedding thicket and said he could hear a buck grunting. So he's sat down, said he's gonna wait till it gets a little daylight before he pushes on into the spot he's really wanting to get to. I mean, it's the right time of year to be here, which I'm very thankful that we're getting the weather right, because I mean, skipping hunting back home, it needed to be worth something, you know. But I feel good about the spot that I'm in. I can shoot a good bit of stuff up this ridge, which is where I think these deer are going to be traveling. My wind is the only thing that's a little tricky. My wind is actually blowing across, which would be straight in the face of the deer that I'm hoping to kill. But I'm about 80 yards, 70 to 90 yards down the hill from where they should be traveling, because I've got a real steep gully right here. I doubt they're going to come up that. They're probably going to be up higher. So they're walking downwind of where they're wanting to go, which is a bedding area over here. But they never get downwind of me. So that's the game plan right there. Beautiful morning. Let's get ready, see if we can shoot a deer. You know, hunting's not always about killing. That's a beautiful, beautiful sunrise. And whether you see nothing or not, you just sometimes got to take a moment and take in the moment, the goods and the bads. Been here less than 24 hours, right at 24 hours, and had just an absolutely amazing trip. Absolutely beautiful. Man, it is cold. That wind picked up and started blowing pretty good. But it's finally calmed down a little bit. Well, that wind was blowing. It was blowing 6-7 miles an hour for whatever. I mean, just out of nowhere. I thought I was going to have to get up and start covering some ground just to try to stay a little warm. We're not seeing anything yet. I don't think Mark has seen anything yet. We've not heard from Bobby. There's a part of me that really wants to go on up high and get onto that next ridge and maybe go to the left. It just, I mean, I feel good about this spot. It looks good. Like, I've got a little horn tree right here in front of me. I mean, right on this contour line where they should be wanting to travel. But I'm just not seeing great sign in comparison to what I found yesterday. Now, the sign that I found yesterday didn't really pick up. I walked up this old logging road. When I got all the way up to the top of this mountain, there was a scrape up there. There's 2 scrapes, actually. And from there, back down the other ridge, or string of ridges, not just one ridge, was a bunch of horn trees. I mean, for sure, deer moving through there, and moving through there relatively recent. But from a traveling standpoint, to get from where that sign starts to get to that section over there, they would have to walk by me. So I mean, it's just a matter of as to what ridge they're coming or going from. So we're going to give it a little while, and I'd like to hear from Bobby to see if he actually made it into the woods. If he wound up not making it into the woods, and we're probably we will probably push on up and around and get onto that good sign, which is just where I tried to send him this morning, but I don't know if he's hunting or not. Making the executive decision that Bobby did not make it hunting. It's almost 8 o'clock. It's still cloudy and overcast. This is the ridge. It flows up to the top. And it flows down. That ridge over there parallels the ridge I'm on through a series of stuff. And then about as far as you can see is where the lake is at. So I'm going to push up here and get to where I seen that good sign yesterday and set up on it, and also check and make sure that Bobby's not up there and something's not going something wrong. I mean, this ridge is beautiful. I mean, deer could just travel this all day long, but the sign is not there. It don't really matter how pretty stuff is. If you ain't got the sign, that means that there's not really deer using that area. So I ain't got much farther to get to the top of this, and it'll slowly taper down. I went walking through looking for Bobby. I found another hunter, but I don't know. I don't know who it was. I tried to call him, but he didn't answer. So I don't know. I hope he's all right. As soon as I seen that hunter, I turned and come back out this ridge I was on. But the way that I come in, I come on the high side. Well, I dropped down a little lower walking out. There's another road bed, and I don't know if you guys can see how open these woods are right here. I don't know if it's Bobby or just another hunter, but they're probably 300 yards through the woods onto that other ridge. So I'm gonna ease my way back. I just wanted to sit down just because I just got done walking all the way through there. I wanted to take a break, and this was a pretty good spot to take a break because I could shoot pretty daggum far, and I can see. So hopefully that's him. But we're back to hunting. Just seen a deer. That boy behind me just shot. I seen him on the ridge. My guess is he shot a buck chasing a doe. That's where I was gonna go. Wow. I don't know what he shot, but there was a doe took off. And she ran right by me on this low side. That boy didn't waste no time. He shot and took off running down the ridge. I don't blame him. If it was a good deer, it's probably what I'd be doing too. I can still hear that doe down here. If that's a hot doe, there's liable to be another buck on her trail. Guys, crazy, we got over here to take a look. Dude shot a good buck, and in the last video y'all seen me shoot a really big deer, and he has split brows and all kinds of crazy stuff going on with his brow tines. And that's exactly what this dude got right here. But we were sitting up there and we heard him shoot, and doe come running right by us when we got her on film. I mean, this doe is 10 yards from me sitting on the ground, and I was sitting there and I was like, man, I can't take it. I got to go, because I knew the doe was hot, and I was like, I got to go over there and see what this dude shot. But funny enough, this is the same ridge I killed my big deer on, and the same ridge he killed his deer on, and we're both from out of state, both from North Carolina, and both have never stepped foot on this property before. So for that to all happen in a matter of less than 48 hours is pretty dang crazy. But man, what a cool little experience there. But I appreciate you letting me come take a look at him, dude.
Yeah,
that's
man,
awesome.
I appreciate it. That's a dang.
Chasing the doe, damn whacked him, son. He dropping his tracks?
Nah, he ran.
Did he really?
Yeah, he ran about 50 yards. I mean, I shot him probably right over there.
You shot him over on that side?
Yeah, I mean, he folded up pretty good.
See, there was so much sign like that, like those horn trees right there, they're so tall.
Or right at the top of the ridge where I was. It was, you can see where they've been come through, skinning it up. I mean, there's a road right there.
Dude, that's so crazy, man.
I mean, that's
cool
the
is
first
that?
split brow I've ever killed.
Dude, that's nuts. He's got the same genetics. That's what's so dang crazy. Dude, that's awesome. What a beautiful deer, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Dude, congrats. That's awesome. That's a pretty cool experience. Well, congrats to that guy. That's right there where, if I hadn't told Bobby to go there this morning, that's right there where I was gonna be at. Deer in right through it. Man, I was really hoping that there might be a second buck with that doe, but I think I was the only one. I mean, she was definitely hot. That's wild. What a cool, I really appreciate that guy letting me film and show you guys what he got. Super nice guy. Turns out he's from North Carolina too, so very small world to meet a mile and a half back in here on top of these dang mountains. And then to hear him shoot, get down there and be able to see it. I mean, and what's even crazier is the big deer that we killed, same type of genetics, same splits on the brows, just a dumb freaking nature. That's crazy. How freaking awesome is that? So I helped him drag deer back up to kind of a high spot. He's got to go try to pack it out. He come in off the back side of this property. So I'm gonna work my way basically back in the direction that I came from. Number one, I left my shooting stick at the first spot, and number two, just to kind of get out of that. I feel like that's kind of blew up, and this section over here is probably a lot less disturbed. So it's still, what time is it? It's 10 o'clock. So we killed that deer yesterday at 11. So we still got plenty of time. I think we can make it happen. We're just gonna ease off back down through there and try to get into a little bit better of a situation, get away from all this ruckus, and see if we can make something happen. I've pushed out this saddle system. I got a high knob in front of me, a high knob behind me that we just came off of. And on the knob behind me, I've got a scrape and some horn trees. But it looks like everything's kind of coming from this area, and I kind of know why. There's a little bowl right there, and it's pretty thick and nasty right in there. So I am playing chicken with the wind right now. The wind is coming across this knoll, so I know that those deer have got to be bedded right in there. But I'm hoping that when they come out, they're going to walk this edge in front of me, and they'll be walking downwind, but they'll never get quite downwind of me, hopefully. But once my wind drops off down in that gully, it just kind of bottlenecks it down, so there's no telling what's going on. This is pretty. I'm not too far away from Mark right now. I've got this knob in front of me, and then you got another saddle behind it. And then that next knob, that's where Mark is. So pretty good ways away from where shot that deer and we heard all that chaos going on. So I'm gonna make myself sit here for a little while. I can see a decent ways back up this ridge that I just came down, and there's a little drainage gully over there where if a deer was to come running up through it, which I doubt they will, if they did, then I should be able to hear them and hopefully stand up, turn around, and get a shot off. I'm debating. It's 12 o'clock now. I'm debating if I'm going to push on to that next knob. I really want to. I want to get to that next one. Because it looks like it lays the best out of all of them. It looks like the timber's a little bit better. It just looks like it's got everything. So we're gonna park it right here for a little while and hang in there, and you never know. Between 1 and 2, you might have something stupid happen. Wound up meeting Mark over on this other knob, probably about 200-300 yards away. A whole bunch of sign, beautiful spot. Probably other than the ridge where I killed my big one, it's probably the best looking sign that we've had. And he found a pretty good access in, so he's going to stay and hunt that tonight. I've got to go all the way back around to get the boat to then pick him up. And it's already 2:30. Originally, I was going to go get back on the boat and go over to another cove and scout it out. But I don't think I'm going to have enough time before it gets too dark. There's a hawk. So basically this saddle runs into where he's at. And there's trails and rubs and all kinds of stuff coming out of this. And there's a bunch of bedding. A bunch of bedding on this right hand side. So I don't think any harm was done walking back through there where I was at. I mean, we may have bumped a deer. But we've got us a crosswind. And there's a good bedding area right here behind me on the other side of this ridge. They may... the deer may wind up getting by us and hitting that high knob. But I don't think that's the case. I think that those deer will kind of funnel to this little area and then roll on over. So I'm gonna sit right here for the remainder of the night, and just see what I see. I feel good about it. Got a really good tree to hunt. Big, fat, wider than my shoulders. Split at the top, right at the base, and everything you want in a tree. And the ground is pretty comfortable, so time to just sit back, relax, and hopefully shoot a deer. Pretty sure I got deer walking. It sounds like there's deer on this other side of this knoll, walking from my right to the left. pull my toboggan up so I could hear better. It's very faint. That deer just grunted. This deer just grunted. I can hear a buck going in a tree. I got a bunch of trees in my way though. He's somewhere right. For me, it sounds like he's behind that biggest tree. Guys, that was no doubt a deer. When I first heard it walking, it was on the edge of this thick stuff. When it got right in there, I started raking leaves and breaking these limbs, making it sound like a deer was making a scrape and horning trees. And then I snort wheezed. But I snort wheezed a good while after I did the scrape and all that. And when I did that, there was a deer started raking a tree. And I mean, I've got this perfect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trees that are just right in my way of seeing where that deer was at. And I could hear it stomping around like trying to get me to move, or trying to get the deer to move. He didn't know it was a human. He thought it was a deer. I've not heard or seen nothing in a while, but the path he's going right to Mark. So long as he'll get there with enough daylight. And I don't know if he's a shooter or not, I don't know. I just know it was a buck, there ain't no doubt about it. I'm shaking like a leaf right now. Well, it is it's the next morning. Had that buck come cruising by. Couldn't really see him, couldn't really get eyes on him, but Mark wound up seeing a very, very good deer. And the original plan was for him to go back in on that ridge that he was on and try to get that deer killed. But his family come in out of town from Disney last night, and his little daughter is sick, so he's gonna hang back on this trip. And with it being my last morning, I'm gonna shoot up where he's seen that deer, because it's a lot easier and a lot quicker of a way in. So I think that's going to be the game plan. Plus, if I shoot one there, I think there's a good chance that I can actually drag the deer out on my own. But it's cold this morning. It's 24 degrees, frost everywhere, boat's frozen up. So it's going to be a cold ride across the water. But it's a beautiful morning. It's clear. Deer moving everywhere. Seen a bunch of deer on the way here, so I feel good about it. That's a good spot. There's a bunch of sign. It's the best sign we found other than where I killed my deer at, so I'm feeling pretty confident about it. So we're gonna get in there and get up on that hill and see if we can drop the hammer on another buck, guys. I made it up top, and I've got a fantastic wind. I was a little nervous about the wind direction this morning, but looks like it's gonna be absolutely perfect. That's the shortest walk I've had since I've been hunting here, but that was a pretty tough walk. It was, that first leg of it was pretty rugged. Gotta keep my ears warm. But I'm in a spot, I've got two little feeder ridges that come together. And there's a strip of short pines right here beside me that runs parallel with this ridge in front. And that's where all the sign is at. And all the deer yesterday afternoon was going down that way. So in theory, they shouldn't want to come back up this ridge right at me. And I've got a crosswind that's actually dragging off down into that gully towards the lake. Now, I know when the thermals switch, it'll probably start sucking it back up. But as long as it's not blowing that way or this way, I'm going to be okay. As long as it's blowing that way, that's fantastic. And if it's blowing this way, then I'm either going to have the deer killed before he gets to me, or he's in a spot where I would never be able to see him anyway. So we're in here plenty enough time for daylight. It's 5:56. We've got about 30 minutes, so I'm going to try to dry out from sweating and then try to hunker down and stay warm, because it's going to be a cold one, not moving around like we have been. So hopefully we get lucky this morning. This is about the calmest, quietest morning that I think I've ever had in the woods. There's nothing moving. I've debated a couple times making a move, but there's just very little wind, and these leaves are so loud. There's just no way that you can move around in here. I mean, I know that the bulk of their bedding is right here, but it's a big, long bedding area. They can bed anywhere along that other side of this knob, but the wind is coming straight over out of the bedding area, and it would make great sense for a buck to be cruising right along the edge of these little pines, which is why there's so many horn trees on this edge. I feel like the bulk of the movement, though, is going to be on the other side of this bedding area. The problem is I don't know how huntable it is, and I don't know what all I'm going to disturb just trying to get in there to it. So I'm really just trying to force myself to sit here for a little while, which it's 8:24, but really and truly, I was not expecting to see or shoot anything until probably after 9 o'clock, as cold and as calm as it is. Whereas colder mornings, they really like to move mid-morning at 9 to 11. 9 to 11 is a fantastic time. So many big deer have been killed in that time frame. So we're gonna hang out here for a little bit and just see what happens. Perfect wind. We've got horn trees. We got a scrape not too far away. Really, we got 2 scrapes and we're straight in between both scrapes. We've got everything we could ask for right here. I don't know how much deer are moving on this side, but everything's in our favor right now other than just getting the deer to actually move. Well, guys, I'm bundled up, froze to death. I think I'm gonna call it a morning. What an amazing adventure this has been. Shooting a buck of a lifetime on public ground, and then going back up into the similar area and meeting another hunter from my home state who was fortunate enough to harvest on his first morning as well. That's a cool story. It's an awesome hunt. I've been blessed. This is one of the coolest hunts that I've done. I'm talking some very rugged terrain, but also some very beautiful property once you get up in elevation to some of these ridges and stuff. But getting up to them is a little brutal. I would definitely be back. I think that I've learned a lot about what type of areas to look for, what type of areas these deer are using to travel. And I think taking that information back and scouting again on OnX to really narrow that search down for the types of areas. We had some general ideas just from what should be natural travel corridors for deer. But we've learned a lot where we were close, but not quite where we exactly thought they would be at. So super excited about that. And, to come have success on public ground is just a big deal with anything, gun, bow, shotgun, doesn't matter. It's been using the boat. It's just been everything. It's been cool as crap. One of the coolest hunts I've ever been on, if not the coolest hunt. But I'm going to work my way back down to the boat and take this nice cold boat ride all the way back. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. If y'all are new to Southern Extreme TV, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to grow this thing to 100,000 subs, and every click gets me just a little bit closer. So thanks for hanging out. I'll see you guys on the next episode.